Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday night. Who's ready to rock and roll with me for the Bulletproof Book Club? Matthew Hall is ready to rock and roll with the Bulletproof Book Club. So is Raphaelite, can't even say it, Raphaelite Girl. Lee's here. Someone else was here a minute ago. I don't recognise the username Raphaelite Girl. To let us know who you are, where you're viewing from. Carl's here. Someone else just popped up. I keep missing it. Sasha's here. Hello, Sasha. Good evening. I love it. I love the way like none of us go out. It's brilliant. All right, Lee. All right, Carl. Friday night. We're staying in and we're reading books. This is what our lives have become. But you know what? I love it. Wouldn't swap it for going out partying. Kudia's here. Let us know where you're viewing from, Kudia. Do you have Instagram? Says Cindy Bella. Barbie's here as well. Yeah, I do have Instagram. It's the same follow as same handle as this. It's at Ross A Grant. I post some reasonably cool pics to Instagram now and again. Alaska, Kudia's from. Awesome. Wow, that's pretty amazing. We've not had anyone on from Alaska for quite some time. Just got back from filming part 2. Sasha's been doing some TV presenting today. Awesome, Sasha. That's brilliant. You were doing that at Chester, yeah? So for people like Kudia and stuff who are from Alaska, he's never tuned in before, let me tell you a bit about us and what we do. So my name's Ross. I'm an actor and a voiceover artist from Manchester in the UK. And we Periscope 3 times a week. Andre's just popped in. Hello, Andre. On a Monday and a Wednesday, I do something called Motivation and Mind Hacks, where we kind of talk about, well, motivation and mind hacks, things like productivity, motivation, how to get stuff done quicker, faster, be more productive, get further in our lives faster. A lot of people are actors on here as well, but all the stuff we talk about is universal. It doesn't apply just to actors whatsoever. This is just stuff that's going to help you in life. And then on Friday nights in the UK at 10 p.m. What time is it in Alaska? Let us know. I bet it's like early in the day. We do a book club, and over the last sort of few months we've looked at some awesome books. What have we looked at, guys? We looked at like Greg McKeown's Essentialism. It's a brilliant book. Take a screenshot of that if you've not read it. It's an awesome book, Essentialism. It basically teaches you how to focus on like the most essential thing in your life in order to get it done. Hard it up if you enjoyed that one, guys, as opposed to like, you know, spending your time on 15 things. It's 1 p.m. in Alaska. Awesome. Yeah, 10 p.m. in the UK. We looked at Lewis Howes' School of Greatness last month. We did 4 weeks on that, which was awesome. Lewis is a mate of mine who's wrote a wicked book, which basically says a real world guide to living bigger, loving deeper, and leaving a legacy. Lewis does an awesome podcast called The School of Greatness as well. You should check that out. Looked at Carol Dweck's Mindset for a little bit, didn't we? We did a couple of weeks on that. Another great book on mindset and how you can develop a growth mindset as opposed to a scarcity mindset, where these days in modern life, kind of, you know, society enforces a scarcity mindset on you. We all feel we've got no money, we've not enough money, we've not got enough time, we don't have enough sleep, there's not enough this, there's not enough that. That's a really kind of negative way to view the world, you know, through scarcity. Kim, I am plugged in, I am on aeroplane mode, so no one can phone me and interrupt the scope. Thank you very much. I have got a Starbucks here I've just made myself. I'm pretty excited about the book we're reading this week, because I read this book a few years ago and it changed my life. It was written a long time ago. Give me some hearts, or say yes if you've read it. You probably know what it is from the tweets I've been putting out, but it's Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It's a classic. It's almost like, you know, it's like a Bible when it comes to success, the science of success. It's like the book almost that everybody reads. It's the book that everybody kind of quotes from. You know, it's the first book that a lot of people read that gets them into like personal development and gets them into kind of, you know, being interested in what success is, how you can manufacture success. You know, the fact that success isn't just about good luck and all these things that we, you know, that Yas is good, but it's awesome, Yas. You know, a lot of people kind of think that people who are successful are either lucky, you know, or they, you know, success is something that you can't kind of guarantee, and it's something you absolutely can guarantee. And there's all the stuff in this book is, you know, it's really, really valuable stuff you can apply. It came about, but the author Napoleon Hill, it was written about 1937, but the stuff's so applicable today, guys. It's so applicable to today even now. And Napoleon Hill met a guy called Andrew Carnegie, who was from Scotland. Napoleon was in America. And Andrew Carnegie from Scotland was a steel magnate. He kind of like, he works in the steel mills, went over to America and just absolutely smashed it in the steel industry, and was one of America's, I don't know if he's the first, if he wasn't the first billionaire, he was one of the first billionaires in the US. Now we're talking like back in about 1917, it's nearly 100 years ago. So I don't know what $1 billion 100 years ago equates to today, but it's a freaking lot of money, isn't it? Sasha, get the book. It's $4.99 from Amazon. It's like £5. It's probably Kudia. It's like $3, mate. Get the book from Amazon. It's brilliant. And what happened is Napoleon met Andrew, and Napoleon was a lot younger than Andrew. Obviously, Andrew had spent his whole life making billions. Carl's ordered it. Awesome. And Andrew he set Napoleon a task. He knew all of the greats back then, because he was so, successful himself. He knew everybody, people like, Henry Ford, who created Ford Motors, Thomas Edison, who created the light bulb, Sir Alexander Graham Bell, who created the telephone, massive people. The chap who was invented Woolworths, owned Woolworths, if anyone remembers Woolworths, great shop. Wrigley from chewing gum, people like that, who were massive. And over 20 years, Napoleon Hill interviewed over 500 people. It was 504 people. And he interviewed them on what makes success, what it is that's made them successful, and the formula for that effectively. And he distilled it down into these principles that he's put in his book, and it's so kind of charmingly written because it's almost like in old school kind of language, but you will recognize a lot of the things that we're going to learn in this. It's really a recap on some of the principles we've covered before, because over the years success hasn't been reinvented. A lot of books have been written on it, but they generally all go back to the principles in this book and then add to. I'll read you a little bit. This is great. It's such old-fashioned language, but it's brilliant. I'll read you the little foreword at the beginning. This is the foreword that's at the top. It says, the 13 steps to riches. Okay, the 13 steps to riches described in this book offer the shortest, dependable philosophy of individual achievement ever presented for the benefit of the man or woman who is searching for a definitive goal in life. Before beginning the book, you will profit greatly if you recognize the fact that the book was not written to entertain. You cannot digest the contents properly in a week or a month. After reading the book thoroughly, Dr. Miller Reese Hutchinson, nationally known consulting engineer and longtime associate of Thomas A. Edison, the man who invented the light bulb, he said about the book, "This is not a novel. It is a textbook on individual achievement that came directly from the experiences of hundreds of America's most successful men. It should be studied, digested, and meditated upon. No more than one chapter should be read in a single night," and we're going to adhere to that tonight, obviously. "The reader should underline the sentences which impress him most. Later he should go back to these marked lines and read them again. A real student will not merely read this book, he will absorb its contents and make them his own. This book should be adopted by all high schools," this is amazing, "and no boy or girl should be permitted to graduate without having satisfactorily passed an examination on it. This philosophy will not take the place of the subjects taught in schools, but it will enable one to organise and apply the knowledge acquired and convert it into useful service and adequate compensation without waste of time." Really like that idea. I didn't catch the last part of your comment, Sasha. I saw you said you really like that idea. I don't know what you're referring to, but it is amazing. Like, honestly, if these principles were taught in schools, I think we'd end up with a far more successful society. All that stuff we've done in the past about working on your weaknesses, and in Bulletproof Actor, anyone who's bought the mindset course that I've just come out with, it launches officially at the end of this month. If you want to find out more, go to bulletproofactor.com. As in with the chapters, by doing one a night, you take more in. Yeah, definitely. And the same with Bulletproof Actor, if you're doing the course, don't like smash through like more than a unit in a day, I would say. There's 5 units. You could, because the units are about an hour each, you could get through it in a day if you wanted to, but there's no way you'll be able to absorb it all. There's no way you would be able to write all the exercises and really answer the questions thoroughly that I get you to answer in it. So go through it slowly. Carl says he's not. Yeah, go through it slowly and really absorb it and go back over units. Reassess your answers. You'll get so much out of it if you do it that way. So we're going to look tonight at one of the first chapters in this book. I can't read it you all because we'd be on here for about an hour. And I know it's Friday night and people don't want to stay online for an hour on a Friday night. But I want to read the first chapter, and it's going to remind you, it's going to remind you a lot of what we've already talked about on many scopes before. But this stuff never gets old for me. It's always great to have a reminder of what we're doing in life, why we're doing it, why we want it, and how we're going to get it. And this first chapter is all about desire, okay, which is really, it says it's the starting point of all achievement. It's the first step towards riches. And this book talks a lot about riches and money. It's called Think and Grow Rich. But you know, today we don't look at riches as just cash, do we? You know, riches in terms of, you know, emotionally rich, you know, relationship rich, you know, spiritually rich. There's a lot of ways to be rich that isn't just having $1 million or $1 billion like Andrew had in the bank. So there's a lot, you know, a lot more other ways to be rich in life. But it all starts with desire. So we're going to read a little bit, and I'll keep stopping, and we'll get comments, and I'll keep stopping, and we'll get comments. If I'm reading and I miss your comments, put them in again, because I when I look at this, I can't see what's going on my iPhone. But it says, when Edwin C. Barnes, okay, if I randomly disappear, I'm not being rude, my phone's just dying and I need to find my charge. Well, the good thing is, Sasha, I don't have a clue who's on and who isn't on. so I won't even know if you've gone, but let us know if you do and you pop back, and I'll give you a recap on what you've missed. So when Edwin C. Barnes climbed down from the freight train in Orange County, New Jersey, more than 30 years ago. So this was written in the 30s, remember? So he's talking potentially at the you know, the turn of the 20th century here. He may have resembled a tramp, but his thoughts were those of a king. So I'm not saying you might be a tramp, but it doesn't matter where you are in life. I guess we should always have, you know, thoughts far loftier than where we are right now. You know, you might be a tramp, but you should think like a king. As he made his way from the railroad tracks to Thomas A. Edison's office, so the man who invented the light bulb, his mind was at work. He saw himself standing in Edison's presence. He heard himself asking Mr. Edison for an opportunity to carry out the one consuming obsession of his life, a burning desire to become the business associate of the great inventor. You should have reminded of Kim. So this guy, Edwin C. Barnes, gets off a train for the first time in Orange County, looks like a tramp, but he's got the ambitions and he's got the thoughts of a king, okay? His one burning desire in life is to be like a business partner, the business partner of Thomas Edison, the man who literally changed the world. You know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 light bulbs on in this office right now, you know. That would not be possible without Mr. Edison. So Barnes's desire was not a hope, okay? So when you're talking about your career and what you want to do, don't just hope you'll become that, okay? It was not a wish, it was a keen, pulsating desire which transcended everything else. It was definite, okay? Barnes's the desire was not new, when he approached Edison. It had been Barnes's dominating desire for a long time. In the beginning, when the desire first appeared in his mind, it may have been, well, probably was only a wish, but it was no mere wish when he appeared before Edison with it. So it might have been a wish at first, but when he actually got in front of Edison, it was not a wish at all. It was an absolute burning desire. A few years later, Edwin C. Barnes again stood before Edison in the same office where he first met the inventor. This time, his desire had been translated into reality. He was in business with Edison. The dominating dream of his life had become a reality. Today, people who know Barnes envy him because of this break that life yielded him. They see him in the days of triumph without taking the trouble to investigate the cause of his success. So even back then, in the 30s, people were looking at people who were successful and going, just got a break, man, just got lucky. We still do that today. We haven't learned anything in nearly 100 years, you know, since this book was kind of researched. We still look at people, if we're not careful, and just go, oh, he was just lucky. That success just came about because he just struck lucky, got a break, whatever. Barnes succeeded because he chose a definite goal, placed all his energy, all his willpower, all his effort, everything back of that goal. He did not become the partner of Edison the day he arrived. He was content to start in the most menial work as long as it provided an opportunity to take even one step towards his cherished goal. So how many of you, to work towards your goals, are prepared to take anything, any menial step? You know, if you wanted to go and work as an actor for a top director, would you be prepared to just, you know, to go on set as a runner or as a cleaner or as anything to get yourself one step closer to working with that guy? 5 years passed before the chance he had been seeking made its appearance. So he'd worked for Edison for 5 years before he even had a chance here, guys. During all those years, not one ray of hope, not one promise of attainment of his desire had been held out to him. To everyone except himself, he appeared only another cog in the Edison business wheel. But in his own mind, he was the partner of Edison every minute of the time. From the day he started working there, in his head, even though he was just a cog, little job, he might have been a cleaner, who knows, he was already the partner of Edison from the very first day he went to work there. It's a remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire. Barnes won his goal because he wanted to be a business associate of Mr. Edison. That's why he won his goal. Who is it who hates me bending the spines, by the way? I'm doing it again. I'll try not to do it. Let me just recap on that last sentence. So, it's a remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire. Barnes won his goal because he wanted to be a business associate of Mr. Edison more than he wanted anything else, right? He created a plan by which to attain that purpose. The law of attraction, well, it mentions this in a minute, Nina. It's similar to that, absolutely. The thing he did differently, though, guys, and this is something that I don't know if you do or if I've even done in the past. I've done it on one occasion for sure, but I don't know if I've done it many occasions. The one thing he did do was he burned all bridges behind him. He stood by his desire until it became the dominating obsession of his life and finally a fact. When he went to Orange, he didn't say to himself, I will try to induce Edison to give me a job of some sort. He said, I will see Edison and put him on notice that I have come to go into business with him. He didn't say, I will work there for a few months and if I get no encouragement, I'll quit and get a job somewhere else. He said, I'll start anywhere, I'll do anything Edison tells me to do, but before I'm through, I will be his associate. He didn't say, I'll keep my eyes open for another opportunity in case I fail to get what I want in Edison's organisation. He said, there is but one thing in this world that I am determined to have, and that is a business association with Thomas A. Edison. I will burn all bridges behind me and take my entire future, stake my entire future on my ability to get what I want. So are you staking your future on getting what you want? Have you burnt any bridges? He left himself no possible way of retreat, okay? He had to win or perish. That's all there is to the Barnes story of success. A long while ago, this is another example, a great warrior faced a situation which made it necessary for him to make a decision, which ensured his success on the battlefield, okay? He was about to send his armies against a powerful foe whose men outnumbered his own. He loaded his soldiers into boats, sailed to the enemy's country, unloaded soldiers, this is mental, unloaded his soldiers and his equipment, then gave the order to burn the ships that had carried them there. Addressing his men before the first battle, he said, you see the boats going up in smoke there, boys? He didn't say boys. See the boats going up in smoke? That means we cannot leave the shores alive unless we win. We now have no choice. We win or we perish. And guess what? They won. Okay, so every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by doing so can one be sure of maintaining that state of mind known as a burning desire to win, which is essential for success. So have you got any examples where you burn your bridges? You know, the only time I did this really like in a big way, and it doesn't seem big, I definitely wasn't, kind of a life or death situation, was when I was stuck in that rut, in that job I hated nearly 10 years ago. 2006. It was 10 years ago this year. Wow, just dawned on me. Yeah, it's a new year, 10 years ago. And I'd been there for a decade before that. So it was 10 years ago and I'd been there 10 years before that. And I hated it. And I felt that I had no hope really of going after my dreams. I needed to have that job to earn the money that I needed to live, well, to exist. I wasn't living, I was existing. That's all I was doing. It was Groundhog Day every day. And I decided one day enough was enough. And I burnt all my bridges and I just left. And I had no backup plan, I had nothing. It's literally the day I left, I stopped earning money. I didn't have any back pay, no holiday pay, nothing to come in. It was like, shit, Ross, you need to get something done quickly. And that for me was the catalyst that then made me go to to any length to get a job with anyone in the acting industry, and that's when I met Michael Jackson at Beverly Keogh, and it all started from there. Moved to Manchester and befriended everyone from Bradford. Lee has made the move. He's on tour at the moment with his theatre company, but yeah, Lee's made that jump. Kim left her job. Absolutely. I don't know, there's other people in the group who have done this, and they've just burnt their bridges, and it's given them the fear. It's flight or fight, innit? And they've gone, this is it, I need to do something. When I was at that job and I was just earning minimum wage and I wasn't liking it, I was still comfortable enough to survive, and I needed to leave and get uncomfortable, push myself out of that comfort zone and get some growth. You know, when you're in the gym, if you work out, put your hands up if you work out, I can't even see you, I don't know why I said that. You need a left full-time job as well. So if you're working out and I give you a heavy weight, guys, and go, right, give me 10 reps of that heavy weight, which is going to be the hardest? Tell me now, which is going to be the hardest rep out of that set of 10 reps? Which am I going to find the hardest? I'll give you a heavy weight and I go, do a set of 10 reps. Which is going to be the hardest rep? It's dead simple, guys. Give me the hardest rep. Come on. Reach me earlier and type like a number in. 10, 19. Right, okay, so, right, you're both right. Yes, 10 is going to be the hardest rep. However, where does the growth come from? The growth comes from the 11th, from the 12th, from the 15th, from the 20th, when you are pushed beyond what you expect of yourself and other people expect of you, and you effectively, you know, you go beyond, you get uncomfortable. So how comfortable are you right now in your life and your situation? Is it time this year in 2016 you start getting a bit more uncomfortable in order to push yourself? You know, when you were setting those goals that we did with a bit of goal setting, we said it's really important to, the C of action in the acronym was for challenging. And it's really important to challenge yourself, and if you're setting your goals and they scare you a bit, it's only a good thing. You know, let's get uncomfortable this year. So moving on, where they go to then? So says, so here's another example, okay, no pain, no gain, Nina, exactly. It says, the morning after the Great Chicago Fire, this was back in the, like, you know, in the 1900s, early 1900s, a group of merchants stood on State Street looking at the smoking remains of what had been their stores. They went into a conference to decide if they would try to rebuild or leave Chicago and start over in a more promising section of the country. They reached a decision, all except one, okay, to leave Chicago. The merchant who decided to stay and rebuild pointed a finger at the remains of his store and said, gentlemen, on that very spot I will build the world's greatest store, no matter how many times it burns down. That was more than 50 years ago. Oh, so it would have been the 1800s, wouldn't it? Wow, it would have been the 1800s that happened. The store was, it was over 50 years ago. The store was built, it stands there today, a towering monument to the power of the state of mind known as the Burning Desire. And that was a guy called Marshall Field, who created a department store, one of Chicago's biggest department stores, called Marshall Field & Co. I don't know if it's still there today, but it was massive at the time. Maybe you do, let me know if you do. But he was the only one out of everyone who stayed and went, I will do it, because, you know, I have no choice. I've got this burning desire, literally, because his shop was on fire, to do that. When the going was hard and the future looked dismal, they pulled up and went where the going seemed easier. That was the other guys. So when they got easier for them, they just up sticks and left. Marshall stayed, smashed it. He says, mark well the difference between Marshall Field and the other merchants, because it's the same difference which distinguished Edwin C. Barnes from thousands of other young men who have worked in the Edison organization. All who succeeded, it's the same difference which distinguishes practically all who succeed from those who fail. So there'll be thousands, well there isn't there, God, you know, there's thousands of people who want to do acting, who want to be in the acting industry. There's thousands of people, I don't know what job, if you're watching this you do a different job, there's thousands of people who want to do your job, who would take your place tomorrow. No matter where you think you are in life, there's always somebody one step behind. I don't care who you are or what you've done in life, there's always somebody who would swap places with you, I promise you. You know, so just think about, you know, the difference that you can make to stand out from those other 1,000 people who want to be where you are, or indeed want to be where you want to go. Every human being who reaches the age of understanding of the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, okay? That's the only part of like the law of attraction that I'm not comfortable with, in terms of I definitely believe what you put out there you get back, definitely believe you get what you focus on, but I don't believe that you can wish for things and get them, in terms of if I just go, you know, if I'm terminally ill, I can't just go, I'm just going to put it out to the universe. There's going to be a cure. I can't, you know, my eyes are degenerating. My retinas are failing effectively and will do progressively over time. There's not a lot I can do about that. I can't put a law of attraction out to go, new retinas, I'll have new retinas, and then expect that somehow some scientist, you know, just kind of gives me them. Yeah, it might happen, I hope it does, but I don't think wishing that, you know, is going to really get me anywhere, and I don't practice that in my life and career anywhere as well. I don't wish for things. If I've got a desire for things, I take action, and that's the only way you get it. All action, all results are based on action. And action is based on your beliefs about yourselves, your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. If you feel you can do something, and you feel you've got the potential, and you say, I believe I can do it. A belief is a feeling of certainty. When you say, I believe such and such a thing, whether it's an empowering belief or a limiting belief, what you're actually saying is, I feel certain that that's true about that thing. So if you feel certain that you don't have the, you know, you've only got X amount of ability, then that's generally going to be, you know, what you end up with. If you feel certain you've got limitless ability, then that's probably what you're going to end up with as well, you know. So you know, taking action is key. I don't think you can just necessarily kind of wish for stuff, but definitely putting stuff out there and contributing to the world without a doubt will mean you are flooded back with, you know, with stuff as well. So he's put this down now. He says, basically, the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. So I'm going to give you these 6 definite practical steps, and the beauty of this book is they're all like 2 sentences, they're dead straightforward. First, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. If you're not after money, swap it with what you are after and what you do desire, guys, alright? And be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. So we're going to look at that on another night, I imagine. Second, okay, so be definite is number 1, and get, you know, have a definite idea of what you want and be specific. Okay. Second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire, or in our case, the thing you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. We agree with that today, in that you don't get anything for nothing. You absolutely don't. There's no such thing as a free meal. Put down, you know, what it is you are prepared to offer in order to get what you want back. Okay. Third, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire or the thing you desire. So that's part of the goal setting thing we did. We said it's always got to be time bound, guys. Always got to be time bound. It puts that accountability on yourself. Otherwise, you just let yourself off and it drifts and drifts. Fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not to put this plan into action. So don't procrastinate. Put your hand up now if you procrastinate. And those who haven't put their hand up, what are you going to do? Procrastinate tomorrow? They're like, oh, I'll put my hand up tomorrow. Yeah, you know, we all procrastinate if we're not careful, all right? Fifth, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. So the 5th step is consolidating steps 1 to 4. And then the 6th step is read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. It's important that you follow the instructions described in these 6 steps. It's especially important that you observe and follow the instructions in the 6th paragraph. You may complain that it's impossible for you to see yourself in possession of money before you actually have it. Well, here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money, or whatever it is you desire, so keenly that you desire it as an obsession, you'll have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The object is to want money and to become so determined to have it that you convince yourself you'll have it. Well, like I keep saying, it might not be money. Whatever it is, you convince yourself, you know, that you already have it, okay, and that you will have it. Only those who become money conscious, or whatever conscious you are, only those who become the conscious ever accumulate great riches. Okay, money conscious means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. So get yourself so saturated on the fact that, you know what, you're gonna do it, guys. You know, this year I'm not having it. I'm not having anybody saying they're gonna try, saying that they wish this, they wish that. When I say, you know, what you're doing, oh, try to be an actor. No, you're not. You are an actor, and that's what you're doing. You're doing it, okay? Absolutely. Last page, okay? And then I've got to read you a little poem before we sign off. But the poem's great. The poem sums it all up for me beautifully. It says, it may be a further help to know that the 6 steps here recommended were carefully scrutinised by the late Thomas Edison, who placed his stamp of approval upon them as being not only the steps essential for accumulation of money, but necessary for the attainment of any definite goal. So man, if this stuff is like good enough for Edison, right, who are we? Who's little Ross here? And Carl and Nina and Kim and everyone, you know, on these scopes, Lee, all the people we got here tonight, who are we to say that this isn't right and this isn't true and it won't work for us? You know, if it's worked for 504 of the greatest individuals and the greatest minds that ever have lived, including Edison, I'm happy to take this stuff on board and start practicing it, guys. At least give it a go. It says the steps call for no hard labour, they call for no sacrifice, they don't require one to become ridiculous or credulous to apply them, calls for no great amount of education either. But the successful application of these 6 steps does call for sufficient imagination to enable one to see and to understand that accumulation of money cannot be left to chance. I say this in Bulletproof Actor, stop betting on chance, for God's sake. Start betting on yourself, right? If you're a winner, you bet on yourself all the time. You don't bet on chance, you don't bet on your agent, you don't bet on luck, you don't bet on the planets to align and things happen for you. You bet on yourself. That's the only thing that you can depend on, is you, okay? So one must realise that all of who have accumulated great fortunes first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring and planning before they acquired money, okay? You may as well know right here that you can never have riches in great quantities unless you can work yourself into a white heat of desire and actually believe you will possess it, okay? You may as well know also that every great leader from the dawn of civilization down to the present was a dreamer. This is interesting, isn't it? It says here, Christianity is the greatest potential power in the world today because its founder was an intense dreamer who had the vision and the imagination to see realities in their mental and spiritual form before they had been transmuted into physical form. So that's an interesting look at like the whole of Christianity. God, it's just a dream, just all a dream. It's a great book, just all a dream, but what an imagination. If you do not see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your life. Okay, never in the history of America has there been so great an opportunity. So this was written in the 30s, and I think it applies today because we're just coming out of an economical downturn. It says, never in the history of America has there been so great an opportunity for practical dreamers as exists now. The 6-year economic collapse all reduced all men substantially to the same level. And that's happened to us today, and also technological advancements have all put us on a level pegging field. It's so easy to get yourself out there. Look how easy it is for me to broadcast live video to your hand right now if you're watching it on your phone. It's a level pegging field. We can all put ourselves out there. Let's have a look. Where do they get up to then? The rules of the race have changed because we now live in a changed world that definitely favours the masses. Those who had but little or no opportunity to win under the conditions existing during the Depression, when fear paralysed growth and development, now have that chance. So we who are in this race for riches should be encouraged to know that this changed world in which we live is demanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions, new methods of teaching, new methods of marketing, new books, new literature, new features for the radio, new ideas for moving pictures. This is before cinema, man. You know, new ideas for moving pictures. Back of all this demand for new and better things, there is one quality which one must possess to win. And that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it. So it's awesome, isn't it? I mean, that's just a few pages of of this book. It's such a great book, and it's written in such a simplistic way. It's not necessarily complicated. It's quite charming in it, in its language that it uses. It puts things out very matter-of-factly. Give me some hearts if you like it. I think it's one of the best books we've had on one of these book clubs because it's just like, just says it as it is. You know, there's no dressing it up. It's just like, this is how it is. These great men have said this is how it is. Just start doing it. It's good enough for them. I'm up for it. And I want to read you I am going to make this. You've got to leave that. Exactly. There is no, you're not going to try. You're not going to, you're not going to you know, definitely buy it, Nina. It honestly changed my outlook in my life a couple of years ago when I read it. It's so nice to read it again. I'm going to go through the whole thing. Get it on an audiobook if you don't like reading as well. It's available on Audible. You know, listen to a chapter each night before you go to sleep. No more than a chapter, like you said in the beginning. It's $4.99 if you buy the paperback. And it's a pretty thick book, you know, it's really good value for money. Let me read you this just to finish, guys, okay? It says, remember, no more effort is required to aim high in life. So believe this. No more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, exactly, Nina, than is required to accept misery and poverty. So I'll read that again. No more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. So are you just accepting bullshit? I say bullshit a lot in Bulletproof Actor, and I don't know if it's going to offend some people. I feel a bit bad about it. It's not proper swearing, but I just get pretty passionate about it, and that's what it is. BS also stands for belief system, guys, you know. So you either have a positive belief system or you just have bullshit in your head. It's up to you. A great poet has correctly stated this universal truth through these lines. Listen to this poem, brilliant. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. So what are you asking? I'm going to close the book. What are you asking life for right now? Because it will pay you if you ask for it, okay? A homeless chap came up to me the other day, and I'm like, homelessness is a really big, you know, big thing for me. Not that I've ever been homeless, so it does not touch me like that. But it's no more bullshit, exactly, Lee. But it touched me because when I was at university, when I was going to drama school, every morning for 3 years, I walked past the homeless man on the steps of Oxford Road Station, and most mornings I would walk past him and he would be asleep in a sleeping bag, often in the rain, in the real deep winter. Sometimes his sleeping bag would have snow covered on it. It was, you know, it's bad. I always tried to give him any spare change that I had. Other people would walk by and would walk past him, and that really, you know, really got to me. And like, you know, they would step over him without even acknowledging him or looking at him as if he was just nothing. And then one day, out of the blue, he wasn't there. And I went into a local like pub when I was at drama school where we all used to go to, and someone else who he was kind of hanging out with was there, and something really bad had happened to him. I don't know if he'd been really beaten up or he'd been set upon, but I never saw him on those steps again. I heard this guy talking about, you know, what had happened. I didn't really find out exactly what the outcome was. And since then I've always been a massive advocate of kind of, you know, helping homelessness. And a guy came up to me the other day and was like, oh, can you spare me 20p, mate? And I went in my pocket and I gave him 20p, and I thought, you know what? And it was only when I left I thought, should I give him a bit more? And I thought, well, he didn't ask for it. If he'd have asked me for £2, I'd have given him £2. If he would have said, man, I need a £5 to get somewhere because I've got to go and see this person, and, you know, someone's in hospital, I need to go and see him, they might be on the death's door, whatever it is. If he asked me, I'd have given it him, but he only asked for 20p, so that's all that he got. So what are you asking for in your life? And are you just asking for that 20p, or are you asking for, you know, for more than that? Because life will give it you if you ask for it, and if you put that burning desire that we just learned about tonight, you know, into place. So stop kind of, you know, just settling and accepting mediocrity, really. I think that's kind of like the message there. So let me know if you've enjoyed it. Chris Stone Films is in the house. I don't know if you've been here for the whole thing, Chris. You've missed a cracking read, mate. You should watch the replay, Chris. We just read some pages of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. One of the best books I've ever read in my life. One of the truest books I've read in my life, and also one of the most scientifically backed books I've ever read in my life, because it's distilled information from 504 of the greatest minds that have ever lived. Chris, you forgot your password. Well, we'll sort that out for you for next time. Make sure you don't lose it again. Watch the replay though, and if you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for sticking with us and watching this. So next week, guys, we'll be looking at another chapter. There's like I say, there's 13 principles in here. The next one in the list is faith. Then we've got specialised knowledge, imagination, organised planning, decision. Why don't we look at decision? Because that's an important one, isn't it? Being decisive. Your decisions dictate your actions, okay? But your thoughts and your feelings generally dictate your decisions, and they're belief-led. So effectively, everything in life is belief-driven, whether that's empowering beliefs or limiting beliefs. So what you have made decisions on in your life, every decision, think of this, and this isn't meant to be negative or anything like that whatsoever, but every single decision you have made in your life, good or bad, has brought you to this point. Chris, your decision tonight to recapture your password, recover your password and log in now, has brought you literally to watching this screen right now. My decision to go downstairs and brew a coffee at 5 to 10 has brought me to this position where I have got a coffee in my hand now. And we need to take responsibility for our decisions, whether they are good or bad. And if we want a better life, we need to start making better decisions. So I reckon, yeah, if you're with me on reading the decision chapter next Friday, heart it up. Otherwise, there's persistence, there's power of the mastermind. Coffee addict, definitely, Chris. We need to get a coffee next week, mate. I sent you a text, didn't I? Did I send you a text? If not, I've written it and I've not sent it. Lee agrees. The subconscious mind, the brain, the sixth sense, or how to outwit. Oh, you know what? That'll be the last week. How to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. That'd be a great one. I don't even know what they are. I can't remember what the 6 ghosts of fear are. But yeah, next Friday we're going to look at decisions then, and making and committing to decisions, burning our bridges. There's no way back. You know, you burn your boats, you hit the island, you unload your armies, you get your weapons off the boats and you burn them. You either win or you perish. Okay, that's what we're going to look at next Friday. We'll be back on Monday. Before that, Monday night, 10 p.m. It's going to be more motivation and mind hacks. And like always, I generally plan them about 2 hours before we go on air. So if you've got any ideas, any suggestions, please tweet me. It's at Ross A. Grant. Tweet Bulletproof Actor as well. It's at Bulletproof Act. The 6 Ghosts of Fear sounds like a bad horror movie. Well, maybe you should make it, Chris. We could turn it into a Chris Stone film. Definitely, I'd be up for that. Who wants to be in that? I'll play one. Have we got another 5? If you want to be in Chris's 6 Ghosts of Fear, say now or forever hold your peace. Make a decision. Sign Ross Grant. Yep, there you go. Lee's in. Carl's in. He's definitely in. Awesome. Well, we'll make that happen then. We'll sort that out. You only need to write the script, Chris, and just tell us. Just send us a call sheet, mate, and we'll all be there. Awesome. But yeah, Monday we'll be back. So tweet me. You should love to work with Chris. Well, why don't you have it in your head like Thomas, like our friend in the book, working with Thomas Edison? Why don't you make it a burning desire to work with Chris Stone Films? Because he's a legend to work with. He's very, very talented, and will be. I am sure. You'd be the runner, exactly. Chris will go on to direct massive stuff. So, friend him now, or you're gonna miss out, basically. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm basically taking Chris out for coffee, meals. You know, I'll give him a ring now and again, just planting that seed in his mind that when he starts directing really big BBC dramas, or also I'm hanging out enough with him to get Scandal on him. So when he starts directing top BBC ITV dramas, Sky, I can either blackmail him, or he'll actually like me and give me a job. It's make it happen, Chris. Definitely. Send him your showreel. Chris, what's your well, your Twitter's the same as this, isn't it? Your Twitter's the same as this, at Chris Stone Films. Send him a link to your showreel, Lee, at Chris Stone Films. He watches it. He's one of the very few genuine guys, like directors, who say, send me your footage and I'll watch it. Because he will. He's seen it. Send him again. It's 2016. He might have forgot. He did. Oh, he did it. Right. He's seen it. He caught his reel. Oh, well, there you go then. He's got your number, Lee. Definitely. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for you at some point, without a doubt. So that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Chris, go back and listen to it, mate. It's like it's a good book. I'm not saying the scope was good because I was good. I'm saying the book's good. It's just a fantastic book. Yeah, get it. It's $4.99 on Amazon. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Distills 504 of the greatest minds in the world, mate, down into 13 success principles. And we're talking people like Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, Henry Ford, Ford cars, people like the Wright brothers, who invented aeroplanes, Mr. Wrigley, who's Wrigley's gum. Huge people. Mr. Woolworth, who was Woolworths. You know, and all of their the principles behind success. So that's wicked. If you've not part of our Facebook group, Bulletproof Actor, go to facebook.com/groups/Bulletproof Actor. And if you want early access to my mindset course, Bulletproof Actor, Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success, which is over 30 video lessons, over 4 hours of video on basically rewriting and annihilating your limiting beliefs, your limiting bullshit life story, recrafting a brand new, empowering, limitless life story you'll be able to live forever. And really kind of boost something called your success cycle, which is why you are where you are at now. It's why the rich get rich, it's why the poor get poorer. Then go to, well actually, yeah, I'll give the full URL out now. It doesn't launch until the end of January, but if you're part of this, you can get early access at bulletproofactorcourses.com. If you've already bought it, let me know what you think of it so far. Carl, how are you getting on with it? Petch, how are you getting on with it? I don't know if anyone else on here. Kim, are you still on? Let me know how you're getting on with the course. How it's if you've had any light bulb moments yet. If it's made you think ever slightly differently. Cheers. He's loving it with capital letters. So that's awesome. Waiting for my books tomorrow. Lee, you are waiting for your books tomorrow. Oh my God, Lee, your books are packed up. I can't believe it, Lee. I've not posted your books. Shit. Lee, I will post your books tomorrow. And you'll get them Monday. Are you going to be in on Monday? I'll post them for 9 a.m. delivery Monday, so they'll be there before 9 a.m. Monday. Will you let me? I can't believe I've done that. Honestly, I was supposed to take him when I got my hair cut today. I was going to take it to the hairdresser. I promised Lee I'd print his workbooks out for him, and I've not printed his. Oh, I've printed his workbooks out for him. I've packed them up the downstairs. He's going to be in school. Will you be there on Tuesday, Lee? How can I get these to you? How can I post them to your school? Where can I post these to? Hit me up with a text after this. I can't believe I let you down, man. I've let you down. I feel dreadful. I promised you. And I did it as well. I did it. The books are downstairs. I'll post them. I don't know when I'll post them. When do you want me to post them? Let me know. And I'll get it to you. Definitely with like a cake in the envelope to make up for you. What you can do though, mate, definitely 100%. Is you can definitely still go through Unit 1 of the course with a notebook. The only thing in Unit 1 you need to fill out in Unit 1 is a declaration that you need to sign. Okay? Just sign it on a piece of paper, just for the process of actually signing and dating something and going, this is it. And you can transfer it over into the book. Unit 1 is absolutely fine to do on a notebook and transfer over later on. If it was Unit 5, I would say no, wait for the book. You need the book. But Unit 1, absolutely. Same for 2. Wait for 3 though. You can do Units 1 and 2 on a notebook, no problem. 3, 4 and 5, you would need them in your workbook because there's a lot of stuff you need to refer to. But yeah, still do it, man. As remember in what we just heard here, it said do it even though you're not ready. Okay, it says get momentum up straight away. Even if you feel you're not ready to do it. So don't stall. Just do it, and leave comments under the videos as well, like people are doing, to let us know how you are doing, and I will make it up to you, buddy. I will make sure that you have those for the day you specify next week. You can choose any day, and I got special delivery before 9 a.m. I'll make sure they get to you. I can't believe that. I knew I had something. I was walking home today thinking, God, I've got that done quick. What did I have to do? And it was that. Completely doing. I could have my hair chopped. I'm like Samson. Chop my hair off, leaves me power. Mental. Thanks guys, I'll be back on Monday like I say. Get to bulletproofactorcourses.com if you want to join these guys and enroll in the course. Thanks for watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, go out there, be bulletproof, go out there and just do something great this weekend, and I'll catch up with you on Monday. See if I can end elegantly. Yes, you sorted it. Bye for now guys, have a fantastic weekend.